It certainly is unprecedented, Joe. We've never seen the U.S. government prior to this grant export controls in exchange for a percentage of the revenue. So yes, it is unprecedented.
Do you think it's constitutionally allowed? Is this legal?
I don't know. I don't know if it's legal. I think that we're in a moment where the president feels fairly confident that he can bend the rules. I mean, if you look at the situation with TikTok, there's a law saying that TikTok shouldn't be operating in the United States now. But it's been the implementation of that has been extended a couple of times, and no one's even really talking about it anymore, despite the fact that there has been no sale. So I think, Trump is probably on pretty firm ground in assuming that he can get away with this regardless of what, the exact law actually is, and that Congress will back him up, at least this Congress. He is definitely facing criticism from national security folks, and there are plenty of people in Congress who have historically taken more of the national security line about issues like this. So I'm sure that we will hear a response to this from members of Congress that expresses concern. But, there's a difference between expressing concern and actually doing anything about it.
Love to know what the China Select Committee thinks about this. We're going to be talking with Raja Krishnamurthy on the late edition of Balance of Power, and so we will go there. Anna, analysis from Jenny Welch at Bloomberg Economics, she's our geoeconomics analyst, suggests that this quid pro quo agreement is in fact a targeted export tax, which the Constitution outlaws. So I'll be deeply curious to see if this holds up in court, if it's challenged. But there's a greater question, Anna, about where the line is here. Could Jensen Huang simply pay up more and start selling Blackwells tomorrow in China as well?
It sounds like what Trump was suggesting, Joe, is that any sales of Blackwells would have to involve, modifying them so that they are not as cutting edge as they are now, which is essentially what the H20 chips are. They're modified to be less than cutting edge.
Maybe I'll take that example off the table then. I think the question is, could Jensen Huang sell anything he wants as long as the price is high enough? We've cracked the door on this. We've set the precedent, Anna. How far could it go?
I think it depends on whether the primary motivation here from the White House is finding ways to raise revenue with trade relationships, or whether the primary motivation in this particular instance is reaching an agreement with their Chinese counterparts. And I think it's a combination of that. Obviously, this administration is determined to get more for the U.S. economy out of trade relationships, in their mind, get more for the U.S. economy out of trade relationships. And in that respect, this is consistent with sort of the broader trade policy of raising tariffs because tariffs represent revenue. But on the other hand, we've got these ongoing negotiations with Chinese counterparts that seem to have been motivated strongly by China's rare earths and magnets export licensing regime, which was implemented in April. And although the initial talks did result in a big upswing in China's exports of rare earths and magnets in June, the July numbers are down considerably from the June numbers. And that continues to be an issue that seems to be causing the White House quite a bit of stress. So this also could be part of a deal specifically with Beijing to try to ensure that the United States continues to receive adequate amounts of rare earths and magnets.
Sure, understood. So we've got this deadline tomorrow on the trade truce, assuming this is all connected somehow. Are you just waiting for the announcement on tomorrow's deadline to be extended?
I think we all of us who are concerned with the trade relationship hope that there will be an extension, because the possibility of a snapback of 245% tariffs on Chinese imports is is one that is sort of stomach churning for an awful lot of businesses, and ultimately would, definitely be passed down to some extent to U.S. consumers. So it would raise prices. I think both sides want to extend the tariff deadline, but the question is, can they reach mutually amenable terms? And that is clearly coming down to the wire.